is the story of my first ever labour and birth, which was to my son Bear, who is now 3. So my pregnancy was completely normal, absolutely no complications with it. Coming up to the end of the pregnancy, I felt pretty good. Going into the labour, I didn't have any significant signs that labour was going to happen. I went into labour one day after my due date. So pretty much exactly on time. I have no idea what we were doing that day. We got into bed around 9 o'clock, which is normal for us. Blake fell straight asleep, and all of a sudden I had these kind of slight cramp feeling. I knew in my mind that was it. I was not sleeping. I got up out of bed. I went into the living room, and Blake had no idea. I spent the rest of the night in the living room. I had rented a TENS machine, so I was using that on my lower back. I thought I was in a good bit of pain. Hindsight, I was not. But I wasn't in as enough pain to go and wake up Blake. I knew that it was early days. I don't think I got any sleep that night at all. 6 a.m. I went in and I woke Blake and I told him that today was the day. Things started to feel a little bit more intense from that point, and I think it was having him and his energy, his nervousness and excitement started to ramp me up a little bit. The midwife told us that once the contractions came down under 10 minutes apart, that it was probably time to go in. As soon as they came down under 10 minutes, we started to drive, and I think it was about maybe 20 past 8. School traffic was just starting. So we got there. I actually felt quite good in the car, and I remember asking Blake at one point, maybe we don't go in, maybe we just go and walk. And I think he would say he was really nervous and he wanted to go in. So we went in. When we got through the doors of the hospital, I burst into tears. And I think I was just really nervous and really just wanted somebody to look after me. There was no one else in the birth suite at that point in Mona Vale Hospital. So they brought us in for an examination, and she checked how far along I was. And my worst fears were confirmed, that I was under 5 centimeters dilated, and had a long way to go. Because there was no one else in the birth unit, the midwives were wonderful and said that we could stay for a little while. They didn't admit me, but they put us in a room and told me to lie down and rest. I had some Panadol Forte, which is the strongest Panadol they gave me, because I wasn't relaxing. And you need to relax to allow that labor to progress. I think about an hour and a half to 2 hours after I'd been there, my waters broke. That's an insane experience. I think I was dozing in and out of sleep, and it was just like somebody popped a water balloon in my brain. I heard it inside my body, and I knew what it was, and I got up and I ran to the bathroom. So that stage, they admitted us because it was that everything was moving along. I wasn't keen to be checked or measured or anything. I felt like it would be disheartening to be told what I was. I just wanted to judge it on how I was feeling, and the midwives were wonderful. They gave us a lot of space. So from then they moved us into the birth suite. Then I was sort of in and out of the shower and the bed. We did not feel the bath because it was too early, and getting into the bath too early can sometimes stall the labor. The rest of the day is a little bit of a blur. I do remember demanding that Blake go and buy me a Snickers. At one point I took one bite and then spat it all out again because it was not what I wanted to eat. It was intense. I vomited a few times. There was moments where I was crying. I remember telling Blake that I couldn't do it, I was too tired. It felt impossible. It was just too much. When my contractions got really close together, I was passing out, falling asleep, and then waking up maybe 3 minutes after falling asleep with an intense contraction, and Blake was just telling me to breathe. And every time I had a contraction, I was holding my breath, and I knew I shouldn't be holding my breath, but I was still holding my breath, and he just had to say, take a breath, and then I would pass, and then I would fall asleep again. Then a midwife came into the room. I hadn't been checked or anything, but she could tell by how often and the noises I was making. She said, "It's time," and I have never heard better words in my life.